Hi, I'm Amy Davison from Gallery 1 in Ellensburg, Washington. Thank you for joining me today on this lovely, wintry but bright day. We are going to be making some Valentine's cards. These cards are inspired by Kandinsky's circle and square study. These are my interpretation of it for a Valentine's card. You'll see that this grid has 3 by 4, making 12, which is what I'm going to be instructing you how to do today. But if you have a smaller learner or need a little bit more space, you can make it a 9 by 9 grid and have slightly bigger squares to be creating your artwork in. If you're viewing this, hopefully you had a chance to pick up a Art2GO kit from Gallery 1. And in your kit, you should have the Valentine card bag, and in there, a watercolor box, palette. You should have 2 cards and envelopes to make this so that you can do one with me and then create another one to give out, or you could make something totally different on it. Your creativity is up to you. You will have a 4-pack of crayons. These are the primaries plus green, so you have red, blue, yellow, and green. You have a 6-inch ruler, perfect for drawing out our grid on our little card. A little pencil for doing the drawing. And you should also have a flat paintbrush in your kit. Your watercolor palette came with a paintbrush. Let me pop that right out here. Your watercolor kit came with this. This one's totally fine and you can use it. But since we are doing a square grid, the flat bristles are going to fit right in nice and smooth to the corners and make this really easy and pleasant way to paint this particular shape. You also will want to grab a water cup. Mine is a yogurt, recycled yogurt jar. And you also are going to want to get a paper towel for blotting and cleaning your brush between paint steps. Put that up there for a second. Give myself a little space, put that in my background. All right, I'm going to move over to sharing my camera. Share. So now you can see what my hands are doing over here. Let's remove our envelopes and set them aside so they stay clean and dry while we do our project. Our first step here is going to be drawing a grid. Hold on, it's telling me something important. Okay, there we go. My computer was talking to me. All right, so in order to draw our grid, we're going to take our little ruler. And one side, you can see there's centimeters and there's inches. I'm just going to use the 3-inch because it's easy to fit on my card and I kind of know where I want it. So I am just eyeballing the center of my card. You could be better at this and actually measure it out. But this way I can show you that I'm going to go from 1 inch from the 0 to the 3 and then stop. I'm going to pick up my pencil and make a little notch at 1 and 2 so that I'm dividing my line into 3. Let me see if I can make that a little more visible for you. There you go. So I have 2 little dots. Go very, very light on this right here. And I'm drawing my line a little extra heavy so it shows up on the camera. You could do your line much lighter than mine. And then once again, I'm going to take my ruler. And this time I'm going to go down to the 4. And then I'm going to bring my pencil back up. Oh, you can't see what I just did. I'm going to draw my line. I'm going to pick up my pencil and put a little mark on 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to rotate my card because that's easier for my brain. and probably easier for you to see on camera, you could take and actually measure from this point to the edge of the card, and that'd be a very smart step to do. I'm speeding it up a little bit and just eyeballing it. 1, 2, and 3, my little hash marks. And let's see how close I came, you guys. Did I get it close to 3? Ooh, I got a little bit wider. That's okay, barely. Not bad for eyeballing it, right? 1 and 2. I'm gonna bring my ruler. I'm gonna do these lines connecting. You're just drawing a grid. You can make your grid as big or as small as you prefer. If you're doing this with a preschooler, maybe you just draw one big square in the middle and just do one large set of hearts. That is also an option to turn this into a little bit easier of a project. Oh, you guys, I measured. I did something screwy here. That's not an inch by an inch. We're gonna fix that with an eraser in a minute. Okay, let's see what I did here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are on the correct spots. 1, 2, 3. Aha, that's where I slid a little, y'all. Here we go. Let's change that. Okay. I have an eraser here because my desk is always prepared with one. I actually had my eraser here because I knew that I was making my lines a little darker so you guys could see them, and my hash marks a little bigger than I'm going to want them on my finished project. You guys at home don't have to make yours as dark. Unless you're showing it to somebody via a camera, then maybe you want to. Okay. I have my grid. This is going to help us by showing the different contrasts of colors that we have up here in this little thumbnail up here. You can see me. Bring it in here a little closer for you. We are going to draw the hearts using the primary colors plus green. And then we're going to color the backgrounds in contrasting colors. Or perhaps it doesn't contrast. That is what this experiment is. Okay, so what I would recommend doing first is going in and drawing some little, keep them small enough so you can outline them 3 more times, some little hearts. And I'm going to spread out my colors so that my red is not right next to my other reds. I take my blue crayon and pop a little blue heart there, and one here, and one here. Now with this little kit, it came with the primary colors plus green. Green is a secondary. Do you know what colors make green? 2 colors add up to make it. And that color is going to be blue and yellow make green. If you are an artist already at home and you have a jumbo pack of crayons, you can totally change this up to do any color that you would like. You could use some pinks and oranges or fuchsias. You could do pink, purple, and red, which are much more traditional Valentine colors. Okay, so I have my grid and I don't have any of the reds touching. The green and blues did touch diagonally, but that's okay. So then you're going to pick a color. We're going to start up here on this one. And you are going to outline around that heart, giving a little bit of a gap. You want a little bit of white showing through right now. so that when we come back through with our watercolor paints, it will have space to do a contrast in the background. And you'll see it through on each of those layers, which is going to be a really fun way to see this project come through. So the artist I based this project on, his name was Kandinsky, his last name. His first name is Vasily. I hope I'm pronouncing that close. He was a Russian painter and artist who is at the forefront of abstract painting. And because up before then, people thought the art should have this very controlled style and that it needed to look like what you were painting. And he did a lot of experimentation and a lot of things with color and line and things that just made him feel happy. A fun fact about Kandinsky is that he could hear colors. When he would look at them, his brain would translate that into sound. So different colors had different sounds to him. I find that very fantastic. And how amazing would it be? I wonder what kind of music this painting would be singing to me right now if I could have that power. All right, as you work your way down your grid, try to change out the colors so that you're not repeating the same pattern over and over. So you'll see on this red heart up here, I have red, then green, blue, yellow. And then on this red, I have red, blue, yellow, green. So that I'm going to be able to see how those colors interact together and differently at the final project, final painting. I absolutely love how cheerful and bright these colors are. Oops, that one got a little silly looking. So I'm going to make that one a little thicker. And maybe because I made that one a little thicker, I might want to come up here and make one or two of my other lines a little bit bolder as well to balance that. Those of you beginning drawers and artists, for our little young artists, this is going to be a great practice at repeating the heart shape, huh? Take your time on this. If you need to go slower than I am, please feel free to pause the video and come back to it or stop it and take a little break. Shake out those hands if they need to wiggle a little bit. They're getting tired. You can hear me dropping my crayons, can't you? My house is really quiet. Yay, so there we go with all of our crayon drawing. And you can go through and thicken some of these lines up if you would like to by tracing over them again, but you don't have to. You can leave it like this if you like the way it looks. So slide this up for just a moment and bring our paint palette over. I'm going to take my brush and add, like, actually, let's do my finger. It's going to work faster. 1, 2, 3. I'm adding 3 drops of water, excuse me, to each of the paints. This is going to soften them up and let them be a little bit bolder when we go to paint our squares. You can dip your finger in your water if it's clean. You can use your brush. Have your paper towel ready to dry your fingertips off. And I added the paint. This is purple. It looks really black on with my lighting. That's purple. I put water in my purple, red, orange, yellow, green, and blue. And I left the black and the brown dry because I don't think they're going to help my painting pop as pretty as the other colors will. So let's go over what primary colors are real quick. Our primary colors are red, yellow, and blue. And our secondary colors are purple, orange, and green. So the way that this color palette is set up is really helpful. The green is made by adding yellow and blue. The orange is made by adding the red and yellow. And then purple, you'd have to circle around and think about the blue and red making purple. If you have a color palette that includes colors like pink and other in-between colors, you are welcome to use whatever you have. Now, if you've done watercolor painting before, you may know that if you color or paint too close to another wet color, the colors may bleed together and kind of make a tie-dye effect. That is okay if that is what you're going for. If you want it to stay crisp and clean and not have any bleeding over to the other colors, what I would recommend doing is coming over here and painting in a checkerboard pattern. So maybe do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Take a little break, let it dry, and then come back and paint the alternate ones in between. For this particular project, I will start painting in that checkerboard pattern, but to keep it from being a super long video while we wait for the paint to dry, I will go in and paint the other squares before waiting super long. So we'll see how it turns out. I have just a little bit of blue paint dabbed on my wet paintbrush. I'm going to come up here into my corners, fit it in, and bring it down. Ooh, my hands are a little shaky, guys. I drank too much coffee this morning or something. Let's clean that edge up a tiny, tiny bit. I'm kind of working it in because I feel like today I pulled up a little bit of my crayon crumbles, which is not what I wanted. There we go. I'm going to swish my brush in some clean water. Dry it off. So it's not too soggy, has a little bit of water, but not too much. I'm going to come back here and wiggle, 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 wiggle on that part that I went over. Oops, let's put this where you can see it. And I'm kind of erasing my slop. I've got a little too crazy there. There we go. I like that. A little bit crisper and cleaner, right? Let's see, which other color should we? We're going to go to this top corner. Let's do yellow. I'll be a little more careful, lining my brush's corners up into the corner of my grid. And you can see that I'm rotating it. You don't have to rotate your card. In fact, some people would say that's not the correct way to paint. I'm doing it because I'm working in tight spaces. And I think for our beginning artists, getting the brushes and using the brush's shape to our advantage by doing the square points into the square corners is going to be an advantageous method. Dip, dip, dip in the water and swipe it dry. Clean. Maybe add a little fresh water on there And let's go to this square and do purple. Now, if you had a really large watercolor palette collection, you could do one where every single color had its own, that you didn't repeat any backing colors. Ours, because we have 12, we will have to repeat a couple of colors. Oh, I'm so sorry. I keep bumping that down out of your view. There we go. Let's see, where is our next grid? Let's go ahead and do this one. And because I have to repeat some colors, I'm going to just jump in and say, let's do purple again. I'm going to go back and touch up that spot. I can see where two of the crayon waxes were so close together. It did a little resist and didn't let it get to the paper. There, that makes me happier. We haven't done any green, so let's jump over to green. And I'm trying to do the balance between enough water to make my paint flow and move and not too much, simply because I'm going to be doing my other colors pretty quickly. Whereas if you're doing this at home, you can take a little more of a break between colors. Maybe go get a sip of water or do some stretches or something between. Clean my brush out. Let's checkerboard to this square and do orange. Excellent. I love the way this is coming together. I wish you guys could see it in the color that I see it here at home, because my color in person is so much brighter than what this screen is showing right now. Maybe your computer screen shows it really nice and vivid, and I hope it does. All right. So we have gotten through the first round of our checkerboard with 6 of our squares. So I am going to go on up here. I'm going to color in this square up high. Color paint. I'm going to paint it in. With color. Oops. You can see right there where my brush pulled a little bit of extra water into the yellow. I'm just kind of scoop that up if I can. Don't be intimidated by watercolors, okay? They're really not too scary. Cute, liking it. So now let's do this one below the blue. Let's see, how about green? You can kind of see how the color pools up on the yellow right there. Kind of fun. And how about another bright, warm color in this next grid? I'm going to do orange. You guys are welcome to do whatever color combination and pattern you would like to do. And that's fun because we added 2 cards to this kit so that you can could do 2 of them and see, you could do them identical, or you could do them differently and see what you like better. Or you could even get more paper and keep doing this project on a big scale, which would be really, really cool and a great color study. I'm filling the warm color right here because we have so many of these darker ones. So let's go ahead and do yellow. And let's see, we have a red way up here. So let's do red down here. We are creating a little bit of a visual balance here, but not being too picky about it in particular. Ooh, that one, for some reason, it really covered up all of my colors. Oh, there we go. Maybe I had just a little too much paint on my brush. Or maybe I didn't push hard enough with my crayon. And one last square left to paint. Let's see. Let's do blue so it's over here in this corner as well. Nice and slow. Ooh, that blue got way bluer, way more saturated than the first one. I'm gonna take a damp brush and then I'm wiping off some of my excess because I don't want it puddled quite that thick because it was hiding all of my crayon. My crayon wasn't thick enough to push it off. There we go. I like that better. Whew, adorable. And now we have kind of a dark blue and a slightly lighter variation, which I like. Okay, well, there we go. There is all of our painting. I could let this dry and then come back and erase my little marks along the very outer edge here to kind of stick out, which I think I will do. Or I could maybe face around it with a crayon or something to help camouflage that. And I think that this card is beautiful on its own right now. You could stop right here. But being that we did this as a Valentine's project, why don't we go ahead and write a Valentine sentiment. I'm going to write "Be my Valentine." I'm going to take my little golf pencil, my little shorty pencil here, and write with my best handwriting. Actually, I'll do my printing instead of my cursive. Be my Valentine. For our little spellers, Valentine's a tricky word. V-A-L-E-N-T-I. And I'm going to put a little heart here for the I dot, the Valentine. So then we have an N and an E. Be my Valentine. I'm going to take that paintbrush that came with my paint palette here, the little round one. I'm going to dip into the tiniest bit of red paint here. I have a wild hair here. Ooh, look at that. We don't want that little one putting paint in the wrong place. Okay, let's see how we can do here. Be my Valentine. Just that little tiny bit of red in that heart. I love it. There is our Valentine card. Make sure that you don't pick this up very much because you're going to want it to be able to dry and not smear around and move too much. You can see where my colors were a little too wet there and they started to bleed. But yeah, here is your Valentine card. Thank you so much. Oh, my studio lights are so bright you can't read. Be my Valentine. You can also have one that says, I love you, or you make me happy, or I love you. There are so many things you can write on these to make them personalized, and then open it up and be able to put in your own lovely message to your friend or family member, whoever you're sending this to this lucky Valentine's Day. I hope that you had fun. painting with me, I hope you check out Gallery One's website and see what other classes and workshops we may be offering for you whenever you're watching this video. We're always updating it and coming up with new classes and new experiences to celebrate and experience art together. I hope you have a wonderful afternoon. Have a great weekend. Have a happy, healthy holiday. And I look forward to seeing you and your projects later down the road. Bye.